Good morning, Goa. Welcome to the Good Morning Goa show on HCA News and Entertainment channel. I'm your host Shoaib, and today we have with us our special guest, the Panjim MLA Sidharth Kuncalienker.
Good morning.
Welcome, sir. As the format goes, first let's have a look at the headlines across newspapers. The Herald says, last one for the road, a reality of total shutdown 72 hours away for retail liquor outlets. That's the big news, as just 72 hours left when the retail liquor outlets will have to shut down, and eyes are still on the Supreme Court's judgment when the bench will hear the petition filed by the Maharashtra and other two states, it's Punjab along with Kerala. The other story on page 1 of Herald is about Air India hardening its stand on the Shiv Sena MP Gaikwad, and they have cancelled his 2 tickets. We are aware that Gaikwad last week had assaulted a senior staff of the Air India. Santa Cruz MLA Tony Fernandez has said that he is willing to and is ready to step down if his boss Babush Monserrat asks him to do so. As I said, that this issue is very important, the liquor ban. Anguished traders seek change in measuring system. The liquor traders allege that the measuring system of radius is not as per the Supreme Court directions, and they are worried about what are they going to do with the remaining stock that they have. That's the news on page 3 of Herald. And something to do with BJP MLAs bound by unsigned agreement of sacrifice. The MLAs had given Parrikar full authority to take decisions on forming government. No revolt within the party, says Francis and Lobo. The Navin Times again carries the lead story on liquor ban, as all eyes on the Supreme Court today. And then Vishwajit and Cabral likely to be inducted into the cabinet by weekend. We know that Vishwajit Rane has resigned from the Legislative Assembly and now he would be contesting a bypoll. But at the same time, who will get those 2 berths in the cabinet still is a suspense. And Goa BJP to felicitate Amit Shah on April 9. That is the national president of the BJP, Amit Shah's visit on April 9th to Goa, and a big program being organized on his arrival, on his visit. And the Urban Development Minister, Francis D'Souza, says Kalangut and Poruvaram can become municipal areas. A very important step towards making us suburbs into better towns. And there's still a lot of it going against the Western Bypass, where Navalim farmers demand immediate stoppage of land filling for Western Bypass project. Now it's BJP's former Minister Avartan Furtado, who was an independent, who is hoping that the government will construct, has joined the farmers and is hoping that government will construct elevated road along the Salpe River. And an important story from the perspective of people, citizens, that is Panjit Aajpasun Zebra Crossing Niyam Sakti. That is by Dainik Herald. We are aware that the Goa police are from today going to implement in a strict manner zebra crossing laws. So these are the headlines overall. There could be many more, but just taking a few. And the big news for the day is, and the concern for the day is about liquor traders. And now we know that around 789 retail outlets will have to be shut down because Chief Minister Manohar Parrikar has given exemption to the bar and restaurants and also the wholesalers. Is there some still hope for these retail outlets?
See, though I am not a subscriber of liquor, but I believe that industry cannot be shut overnight. It needs some time to take its measures to start shutting. I understand Supreme Court has given some 6 months or something, 3 months, but it is too short a time, and this is not a remedy to drunken driving. See, we should start enforcing laws strictly, cancel licenses, put more prohibition, put more vigilance on the roads, put more policing on the roads. These are the some of the alternatives. And if some driver does wish to drink, he can always buy it, stock it at home, and then carry it in his vehicle and drink. So the logic of shutting down bars or some vents along the road doesn't make sense as per me. I respect learned Supreme Court judges. They also must be having some reason for it, but for a common man like me, doesn't make any sense. And I believe if there is a hearing today, an important hearing, some clarifications likely to be issued by the learned judges, and I hope it comes well with a good thought given to the employment that this industry also creates, because I am worried more about the farmers who are into cashew plantations. See, there are owners, there are laborers, there are those who distill cashew liquor, there are those who are vending it out, there are shop owners, there are employees. So there is whole lot of chain which is formed, and these are all common men, common people who work in these outlets.
So exactly, I mean, it is so important with as far as Goa is concerned. It's not just about Indian-made foreign liquor, but then our own cashew, which has been recently
granted GIS,
and also stated as the heritage drink.
Yeah.
So in that context, there are a lot of livelihoods at stake when this ban is going to be implemented. One major concern that the liquor traders speak about is the
measuring
of the road itself.
Yeah.
While the Supreme Court judgment does not specifically say radius, it says accessible road and 500 meters, and the board should not be visible.
Yeah, it says 500 meters from the highway.
Yes.
So I believe when there is a rule which says 100 meters from the school, and when they say 100 meters from the school or a religious place, it means from the road distance measured along the accessible road. I believe the same measuring yard or measuring stick should be implemented in this Supreme Court judgment also. Unfortunately, I think the authorities have made it as a radius as the crow flies.
Yes.
That is not right. So many a times what happens is the cruise boats,
Yes.
which are just below the highway, maybe zero distance from the highway if you see the map, but the accessible road may be much more than 500 meters, because the driver cannot be allowed to jump in the river and then take the bottle and go back to his truck or vehicle. So we need to put some logical thinking in this judgment.
And at the same time, there's one more issue that has happened is since the Chief Minister has given exemption relief to the bars and restaurants, now there's a thought that okay, if I'm not able to going to be able to keep my retail outlet, let me convert it into a bar and restaurant. So how much does this fit into the spirit of the judgment then?
That's up to the people to decide. But if judgment says and judgment gives a leeway to the bar and restaurant, yes, I mean if it's as per the law, it should be allowed.
Because this was also the opinion of our AG, Attorney General of India, Mukul Rohatgis, where he said that yes, hotels, restaurants have been exempted.
Yes, I have read judgment in detail. It does not mention anywhere bar and restaurants. It all says about vends, liquor vends, and if you go by the dictionary meaning of vend, it is selling of a packaged goods.
Correct.
Also it mentioned off the premises consumption. That means a bar and restaurant serves on the premises. It specifically mentions off the premises consumption.
Yes.
So Supreme Court probably means liquor shops. And exemption of bar and restaurants.
Then is I mean, coming to politics, and before I go into the local politics, BJP is organizing a felicitation program for the National President Amit Shah ji on April 9th. What is going to be this program like?
I am also not been fully given to understand what it is, but from the papers I gather, it's a public meeting to felicitate our president who is coming down on 9th April. And it's all where all Karyakartas also will come, our well-wishers, the public also will be invited to attend. And it's going to be a grand function.
And at the same time, I mean, all this happening right, today, the Rajya Sabha will have a discussion on our governors' actions in forming this government, and questions time and again in the last 15 days have been raised, how the government was formed. Does that still remain in the limelight, or these are all issues that have to be discarded once for all now?
So, the issue has to be discarded once and for all because the Supreme Court has given a ruling on it. Supreme Court has validated the stand of the governor, and Supreme Court had asked plain, bare, threadbare questions to the opposition party. I think they should answer these questions first, and then they should go for the debate. In fact, I want to highlight another news of today on your Herald. Santacruz MLA to ready to step down if boss asks him to. This is the pity of the Congress party that they have come down to. Their own MLAs consider somebody else as their boss, and with this attitude they were supposed to form the government. I think people have realized what Congress is, and that is why the BJP government is well taken by the people.
Okay. So, as you just mentioned, I was going to come to that, where Santacruz MLA says that Babush Monserrat is my boss. He is the one who negotiated for me with the High Command, and therefore, if he asks me to step down, I will step down, and they would.
No, that's what a Congress MLA, a person, Tony Babu, elected on a Congress ticket, gone in front of people with a Congress symbol, is now listening to a boss outside his party. I really pity this party.
So the strength of the Congress itself is.
Forget the strength. If this is the attitude of the Congress MLAs, God save Goa if they had formed the government.
Okay. While we speak about him stepping down, there are all speculations that Vishwajit Rane is going to be contesting on BJP's ticket. So how far is that confirmed or true?
I think when the elections are announced and when he files a nomination, it will be much more clearer by then.
Okay.
Definitely where he contests from, with which party he contests from, definitely will be cleared by that time.
One very important question, since we are already discussing on this, is that your political mentor and the Chief Minister Manohar Parrikar is yet to decide on which constituency he would be contesting. But all speculations are that it would be Panjim because that has been his home turf. What is your opinion on that? And
I have offered my seat to him, and I have told my party that I am a Karyakarta of the party, and what I am today is because the party has given me the responsibilities. A Chief Minister contesting from Panji is definitely a welcome step, and I think every other legislator will also do the same, because when a Chief Minister of a state contests from that constituency, the constituency is bound to get attention what it deserves. So definitely we are all for him, and I have told my party that whatever responsibility party thinks for me, I will do the best of my ability.
So it is a clear thing that yes, Sidharth Kuncalienker would vacate the seat for Chief Minister Manohar Parrikar, and we are likely to see the Chief Minister contest from Panjim once again.
Definitely, if the party tells me to do it, I am more than willing to do it.
But it's yet to be decided, and
yes, it is not yet decided, so it is yet to be decided.
Okay. Coming about governance, again, Chief Minister Manohar Parrikar has said that it will be minimum government and maximum governance, and the first step towards that probably was the implementation of Time-Bound Services Act, and we are looking forward that, as Revenue Minister has also stated, that within the next few months it would be implemented in its full scale. Now we have the Urban Development Minister saying that Kalangut and Porvorim could become municipal areas. Right now they are panchayats. We see that their income is quite strong, and they have become the suburbs now. How is BJP as a party, and you have been a legislator, what has been the discussions around this?
No, I am a legislator from a urban area. My constituency, Panji, is totally a city constituency, leaving aside the 2 wards of the panchayat, old Goa panchayat. I see many more advantages of this areas turning into urban areas, municipal areas, and it's a very visionary statement made by our Urban Development Minister. Kalangut and Parvarim have been the residential areas, and of late they have also been converting to the commercial areas. Many of the commercial establishments have shifted to Porvorim. For example, the Delfino supermarket. You see the Chogam Road, there are full of restaurants, shops of different kinds. So, these areas need to come under some uniform guidelines, uniform rules. And I think if they are under panchayats, which are different panchayats having different jurisdictions, then the yardsticks also sometimes differ. So, there is a necessary to bring them under a uniform rules, uniform taxation systems, and I think this is a very good step in that direction.
Okay. So we, and as you just mentioned that yes, there's a lot of development that has taken place in Porvorim and
Kalangut.
Kalangut, both areas. Even now they have put in along with Goa. Whenever it's mentioned, we see that they are always mentioned alongside as one of the important cities and places.
Kalangut is our queen of beaches, they say.
So going ahead, there has been a demand with regard to, a lot of speculations were there that Michael Lobo would be inducted into the cabinet, but he is now the deputy speaker. There are two berths still in the cabinet. Now it is, Navin Times says that it could be Vishwajit Rane and Cabral who would likely be inducted into the cabinet.
In fact, Michael Lobo is my very good friend, and I know his capability. Whatever responsibilities you give him, he is capable. I have worked with him in PDA, and he is very forceful in getting his work done, in following up on his works for his people, and he is very confident in whatever responsibility you give him, he will perform. As regards to the two vacant berths, definitely it's a prerogative of the chief minister to induct whom he desires to be ministers. Okay. Because he is they are his colleagues who are going to help him in all his works. So definitely it is his prerogative, and these are all speculative news that keeps coming in each paper day by day. I think this will keep coming, and this will be to the liking of the people till they are actually filled.
Okay, so we hope that those appointments, the two berths are filled at the earliest. Again, not going to drifting away from politics. One news today we are carrying is about BJP MLAs are bound by the unsigned agreement of sacrifice, while the alliance partners specifically stated that Manohar Parrikar should be the CM and only on that condition we will support you. There was also, I suppose, an unsigned agreement from the party MLAs who gave all the authority to Mr. Parrikar while forming the government. How far this is true, or is there some?
Yes, it is true that all MLAs have had come together immediately after the results. We sat together, we deliberated on the political situation that Goa was facing, and what do you call that, mandate given by the people, fractured mandate, and a wholehearted decision was taken to support Mr. Parrikar for coming back to Goa and give the choice to the Central Parliamentary Board and give a full freedom to Mr. Parrikar to run the government.
So at that point also, when we talk about sacrifice, so it was very clear that no MLA would be able to stake his claim to be the minister or some position while the government is in place, because that would mean the alliance partners also will have to be accommodated.
Yeah, this is a government of coalition, and we have to respect the coalition mandate that the people of Goa have given, and that is how the government has been progressing till now. I am very confident that Manohar Parrikar is capable of taking forward his government and giving a good governance to Goa. We all 13 BJP MLAs have taken a uniform decision after very good healthy deliberation that he should lead the government and he should be given total freedom of working, and this is the same thing which is echoed in your paper.
Okay. So in a way, the legislators, the BJP legislators have put all their faith into Manohar Parrikar and said that we are submitting to you now. How you run the government is your decision, but we are there in all your decisions, standing tall equally.
Of course, he always deliberates with his colleagues and with the MLAs also whenever a major decision is to be taken, and definitely he will continue to do the same.
You were the pro tem speaker when Vishwajit Rane resigned within 3 hours of taking the oath as the legislator, and his disqualification petition is to be put forth by the Congress yet. Will this disqualification petition, have grounds at all?
No, I have occupied that august chair of the speaker for almost 7 days, thanks to Supreme Court. Otherwise, it would have been just a 1 hour affair. I have studied the do's and don'ts of the speaker, the rights of the speaker, and I don't think he can be disqualified on any grounds. First of all, because the whip was not registered with the legislative.
Okay.
You need to register the whip, and our opposition party failed to register it.
Okay.
And he has registered. I have talked to Vishwajit, I have talked to him, I have asked him very categorically whether it was under duress, whether it was under pressure to resign. I have given him time also to rethink on the decision that he had taken, and he has clearly told me that this is out of his own volition. I asked him to write it in front of me, I will not accept the typed the letter which is signed by him. I said, you write it in front of me, and he wrote it in front of me, and he had already made up his mind. Probably that is all because Congress had failed to find a leader. Congress, and today's newspaper about the boss giving instructions from outside the Congress to Congress MLAs, probably these are the frustrations which any MLA from the Congress party will have, and his decision was valid to resign.
So are we looking at, as while we say this disqualification might not stay, and therefore Vishwajit Rane would certainly get re-elected whenever he contests from whichever constituency.
Not whichever constituency. Right now, only one constituency is vacated.
We never know. This is as Tony has already offered a seat for Babush Monserrat. There could be someone who would offer a seat for Vishwajit Rane. But in the eventuality, I'm saying, are we looking at some more Congress MLAs when they are not so strongly united coming to the fore of BJP, because there are more
today's your own paper has written that they listen to the boss outside the party. So probably there may be some more bosses who are telling them to resign. I don't know. So many more may follow.
Okay.
Many more may be on their way.
Okay. So the space is always open. The grounds are always open for anyone to go into any party as of today.
No, I'm really appalled by that statement that a Congress registrator, a national party MLA listens to a boss from some other party. I don't know what the central leadership is taking a note of it or not. I don't know. It is up to them. It's their affair.
If this had happened in the BJP, what would be the action?
Definitely, we are a disciplined party, and definitely there would have been action coming forth immediately in this case.
Okay. Coming to some issues with the public, one is the Western bypass. That has been a part of discussion even in the assembly. Now it is coming into the public domain because since the government is back into place, and not just the farmers but also locals who are going to be affected have again raised an alarm that landfilling at this rate will only lead to with monsoons around lead to flooding.
I think I'll have some clarification, because I was also part of some presentations done when the previous government was there. The work started almost a year back, previous to the last monsoons, and there was a lot of apprehensions raised. The work which was going on will inundate a lot of fields, lot of houses, and then the monsoon came. The actual monsoon came, and the last year's rains were pretty heavy. We recorded more than average monsoon last year. There were no floods, there were no inundations, everything was clear. These are all fictitious oppositions being put up by the people to every development projects that the government takes up. And somewhere I will request all governments, we should accept. Today there is a headline somewhere that the Chimbel IT park is being opposed. See, we have to see from the larger perspective of what is the positive in that, what is positive in a project to the village or to the villagers or to Goa, and then accept or reject the project. Now, IIT coming up in Concon is being opposed. Now, if we are opposing every project tooth and nail, we do not want chemical industries, I fully support it, because Goa is too small to have any dangerous industries. Now, if we do not want any clean industries also to come and neither the dirty industries, what is the youth going to do?
On that one,
Should our youth only migrate to outside Goa and work for some Gulf countries or in Bombay or in Bangalore, in Delhi? We should create some employment avenues to them to work in Goa. Otherwise, what will remain of Goa?
absolutely taken, but there's one issue when all this is being one problem that is understood by a lot of analysts. This is the government is failing to reach out to people in trying to make them understand.
Government reached out to people, explained to them the whole thing. There were presentations made to people prior to starting of the project, during the project. People have been taken into confidence for the alignment. This is acquired land.
Okay.
And the protests start after the work starts. I think this is not fair. We have to do whatever we need to do before the project starts.
Are these fallout? I mean, I'm just interrupting you because are these fallouts in keeping in view the panchayat elections that are going to be held in a few months?
I don't know. Navalem is too far from Panji for me to gauge the political situation there.
Because Chimbel is also protesting against now the IT park. I mean,
Chimbel have been protesting for quite some time. There has been one-off protests many times in the media. It has been reported. But what I am trying to tell is that people should understand what it is, what is the project, whether it is going to benefit the village or not. That we should think. Like the IT park will create the highest of the high-end jobs as well as the lowest of the low-end jobs. Our youth can get employed in as a IT engineer, as a manager, as well as somebody in the housekeeping, somebody in the security services, somebody in the canteens. People can run our canteens, people can give transport services, taxi services, housekeeping services. It's a job avenues that is going to be there for that project. So we have to take from a bigger perspective.
Just coming to your own constituency, though, we are right now seeing that the CCP is doing its work as far as pre-monsoon works is concerned. But then we have always seen that the CCP mayor and the local corporator, the local legislator, the Panjim MLA have never been on the same board. There have always been differences, and even when it comes to be it the smart city project or Amrut, both have opinions which are different. And with the mayor Surendra Fatado even going to the extent of saying that we have no role right now to play in the national projects.
I think that's just thing of the past. See, I fully appreciate Surendra Bab's stand for this pre-monsoon cleaning he has taken up. He has shown the way forward for all the other urban bodies in Goa. We have 13 urban bodies, and starting something meaningful well in advance is really good. Otherwise, normally what used to happen is that we used to clean our drains in the month of May. We used to keep all the muck somewhere in the last week of May, and then the rains used to come and all put it back in the drain. So it was a zero exercise. What he has started is really worth appreciating, and I have been supporting him. Whenever he has called me, I have gone there. And you have to support good positive works that are done by everybody, anybody, and it's in the interest of the city.
Correct.
National projects are also in the interest of the city, and these are all approved by the CCP itself. And I believe that he will also take definitely a positive view of the projects and go through it.
When we see even in the committee, the CCP mayor, the special purpose vehicle which has been created for smart city, only the commissioner is there and the mayor is not included.
Neither I am included.
Yes.
So it's not an elected representatives body.
Do we need to see that even the people's representatives are on board?
I think there are. I think on SPP there are some prominent people who are there on the board, and these are the people who will take. It's not just bureaucrats body. There are also people. It's a company, and there is a representative from the bureaucracy, representative from the municipality, local urban body, representative from the government, and representative from the citizenry, representative from the voluntary organizations. So, it has a wide representation from different quarters, and that is how it is formed, and it is formed with the guidelines of the mission which are issued by the central government.
Ministry of Urban Development. Okay. So we are looking forward that Panjim city now currently being represented by you, and if Chief Minister Manohar Parrikar wishes to contest from Panjim, maybe then he would be the representative of the people of Panjim city. In whoever represents, whether it is you as Sidharth Kuncalienker as the MLA, or as you said, if it is the Chief Minister who represent, all the more better. We hope not just the capital city, but the Panjim city becomes an exemplar for all the cities and towns in Goa as well as the panchayats to take up development work, and people stop protesting against good projects, but if they have issues, come forward to the government and clear their opinions. And on that note, I thank you all for viewing HCN Good Morning Goa show. I thank Sidharth Kuncalienker for joining us.
Thank you for giving me a chance.
I will be back tomorrow morning again at 8 p.m. with yet another guest and with varied more issues. Until then, keep watching HCN.